Hi everyone, thanks for your patience and waiting. Um, we'll start up today with a brief recap from what we had yesterday. Yesterday we had some very great speakers here, very enlightening sessions. We had Chuta give us a speech about uh, what he thinks about blockchain in Africa. We had Osamide from GIGX also give us a speech on what they're building and how they intend to get the next 1 million people on the blockchain in Africa as well. We had the CEO of White Matrix also it was a very enlightening session with him. He gave us a rundown about NFTs, the blockchain, and the metaverse. Was a really enlightening session. We also had Chris from Conflux Network tell us a lot about Conflux and the possibilities of building on Conflux. Right. Then we went to having the panel discussion, which was a very insightful one, where we trashed out a lot of questions from the audience, and it was really really interesting. So I hope you're excited to be on the second edition of Conflux Lab in conjunction with ChainIDE. So would be expecting our first speaker of the day, um, who's going to be Mr. Chuta, right? Mr. Chuta is the founder of BNUG Blockchain Nigeria User Group, with over 2,000 members in the group, very most active blockchain group in Africa so far, right? Has a very great community, and he has been leading the space in the regulatory system. He has been leading the space in the regulatory system, trying to make sure that there is regulation in Africa in terms of the blockchain space, and he has pioneered that space properly. Um, Without further ado, I would like to welcome Mr. Chuta on stage as he gives us his speech. Thank you.
All right, guys. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me
We
properly?
can, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. All right. So, do I have permission to share screen? Because I would like to do that.
Yes, you can share your screen.
Okay. Okay. So, is my screen visible? Guys.
Yes, very visible.
All right. So, thanks everyone that is on the call today, and I appreciate the opportunity to join this discussion again today. Thank you, Ace, for the introduction. Blockchain Nigeria User Group has over 4,000 members on Telegram group, but practically most people who are in the ecosystem are one way or the other part of Blockchain Nigeria User Group, because it's not a group for selected people. Is a group meant for Nigerians and Africans and any other person who likes to see the growth of blockchain technology in Nigeria. So in that group, we have regulators, we have developers, we have investors, we have traders, we have enthusiasts, we have, foreigners who have been part of the community. So one of the things that we also help to do is to bring in projects that we believe will be very impactful to Nigerians and add value to whatever it is that we want to do in Nigeria. So I'll be speaking to us on blockchain career paths. And I touched a little bit on it yesterday, but I will be a little bit more detailed today. The link to this presentation, I will share it, and you can always go back to it, because I'm sure that because of time, I may not deal with all the slides with the type of attention that they require. So I've always seen technology as an enabler and a powerful disruptive tool. My first encounter with the power of technology to transform life was around 2016, when I embarked on a trip, my first trip to the US, and I got to the American border. And at that time, it's usually common to see people turn back at the border, after landing in US. So there was a lot of apprehension when young people who were on the line were normally called out to take and taken to private rooms to interrogate them. But when I got to the home office, and they asked me what I was there for, I told them, okay, I'm here for a technology conference, and it's holding at XYZ location. Apparently, they know about the conference and they know about the location. He asked me, so are you like a software engineer or one kind of techie guy? I say yes. That was it. He just took the stamp and hit on my passport and said, "Welcome to America." I didn't spend up to 30 seconds with him, and it was amazing to me. And by the time I got into the US and I saw how technology was able to, automate processes, make infrastructures that were used for running governance and social experiences really breeze, I now realize that that community, that environment, that country respects technology. So ever since, I've always looked at it as a highly disruptive tool that you can use in making things better for people. And government can run better, organization can be more productive, and opportunities can be, available to more people, and all that. Then when you come down to Nigeria and most of African countries, you see that there's not much effort being paid to technology, except probably in the last 10 years. Tech people and technology incubators were not recognized as people who were doing anything fantastic. If you also look at the global chart for the millionaires that we have in the world today, they were actually populated in the last 10 years by tech companies. And back home in Nigeria, we also started seeing tech companies that actually were coming out as unicorns and all that. So, emphasis in Africa has been on the natural resources that we have. You have all kinds of things that God bestowed in Africa, and you have gold, you have cotton, you have oil, you have gas, you have diamonds. You just name it. Every single imaginable thing that you can dream of, you can find them in Africa. But yet, Africa, fundamentally has remained poor, you know, and it is not poor because it didn't have these resources, but it's because, over 800 million citizens that are living in Africa have not been able to harness the resources that God has endowed them with. Yesterday, I spoke about the lack of trust, the lack of transparency, the lack of people being able to get carried along. Government operates in an opaque way, and citizens don't even know what they are doing. They don't even know what their focus are. But technology has the power to change all that, because if you can harness every one of these opportunities that we have and put them together on a distributed ledger technology platform, then everyone anywhere will have access to that pool. and that will be transformative for every one of us, because blockchain, as we have learned over the years, defining what it is and what it can do, we have learned that on its roots you have transparency, immutability, the ability to verify, security, and of course decentralization. Yesterday I talked about the ills of lack of transparency when it comes to relationships. I talked about the fact that people are able to verify, that it helps to build confidence in the people that are being led. We also looked at the fact that you can only add a record, you cannot alter it, and how those kinds of things are part of what created a lot of problems for us in Africa. If you ask an average civil servant in Nigeria to give you a census of how many people that are in Nigeria, the chances are that they're going to doctor records. They're going to come up with information that are practically unbelievable. Okay, not only that, the population, the counts as per individual head is going to be faulty. You also find out that, you know, geographic delineation and age delineation will also be an issue in those data. And without accurate data, you cannot make accurate planning. That's why statistics is very important. When you look at organized countries, they work with data that they can use in, creating models that can help them make decisions over short-term period and over long-term period. We don't have stuff like that functioning anywhere in Africa. And this technology is one of the technologies I'm betting big that will help to resolve that problem. Again, African youths are the youngest when you compare youth demographics across the world. Part of the reason is because, in Nigeria and most of African countries, people just give birth as many children as possible, provided that there's no limitation or no law stopping them from doing so. So you have a lot of young people within the age of 20, 23, 24 that are scattered over Africa, compared to 46 and 47 that you can see in most European countries. So it's a huge opportunity for us, because young people are attracted to technology more than elderly people. And if we can harness that population, definitely we'll have some good stories to tell. I always tell young people to don't allow yourself to become beast of burden in the face of Africa's infrastructural failure, Africa's governmental failure, the inability of the economies in Africa, the governments in Africa to organize itself and give youth a future that they can look forward to and a life that they will be happy to live. Don't allow yourself to be a beast of burden. For once, this technology has come to allow everybody who is interested to chart a new path for himself, and no government anywhere can stop you from doing all that, because Africa lacks infrastructure. I keep saying that we don't have systems that currently you can rely on to work. I mean, even a simple thing as an identity system is completely broken and fragmented. And if you say let's rebuild them with the old system, it's going to take us a long time. That's why leapfrogging is what we've been advocating with agencies of government. You can, forget about all the existing systems and jump straight to blockchain technology and use them to rebuild so many of the systems that we lack or that are not functional. So I say here that there's an urgent need to rebuild Africa, and blockchain technology offers those tools. If we are going to rebuild Africa's broken infrastructure, and blockchain technology is the tools, where are the people who have the skill set to create these new paradigms using technology? And that's why a topic like this is very exciting to me every time I have to talk about it, because there are so many opportunities that are out there for those who are ready. Jobs are springing up almost on a daily basis than you can ever imagine people being able to feel. Blockchain technology has the potential to, change every industry in the world. In other words, there's practically no industry that is not going to be needing people with some new type of skill sets that are blockchain and crypto related. Okay, so that's a huge opportunity. So you talk about banking, you talk about manufacturing, you talk about construction, you talk about medical field, you talk about education, you just name it. Every one of these industries at some point will come into the blockchain technology era, and they will need skill sets, men and women who understand this technology. And the good news is that there are not much schools that are offering this kind of content or curriculum in different schools and universities. Of course, in Nigeria, there's none. I was privileged enough to have discovered the University of Nicosia at Cyprus as far back as 2016, and plugged in and got my first education on blockchain and crypto technology education. And that has been one of the decisions that I've made in my life that made me proud. Right now, I'm in Dubai. Two things brought me to Dubai. First of all, I spoke at the Dubai Blockchain Week, and of course, I was one of the two Africans that were privileged to be on that speaker list. And secondly, I am also in Abuja to deliver a training on risk-based approach to fintech regulation to the top management of the Central Bank of Nigeria. These are opportunities that came up not because I was in tech. I've been in tech for more than 10 years before I stumbled into blockchain technology. But blockchain technology has enabled us to be able to provide content, rich content that people are seeking after. I mean, they buy you business class ticket, fund your logistics, put you in the best hotels in the world to talk to them about blockchain technology. What can be better than that? I've been working in the blockchain space for over 4 years right now, and I can tell you how rewarding it can be for you to get involved with this technology. And don't think that the opportunities have all gone. We have barely scratched the surface. We have barely scratched the surface. So I say to you, young African, young Nigerian, wherever you are, embrace blockchain and crypto assets technology. Why? Because you can earn global standard income. If you have the required skill, there's no way someone is going to judge you based on your skin color to offer you your pay. It doesn't happen. It does not happen. I worked for about three blockchain companies, and each of them take me like they would take anybody from their region, not looking at my color. You don't need to like my face, it's not necessary. If I have what it takes, definitely you will know that if you miss me, you miss the opportunity to get the right man for the job. So there is global standard income out there for you to earn if you will embrace blockchain technology. Secondly, you'll be in control of your own future by yourself. Think about it. We're not limited by the financial systems of the regions where we find ourselves. I'm like right here in Dubai. I really bring out my bank ATM card for any reason. You get my point? I'm in complete control of my finances and my future. Anything that happens to me here, it is me. Okay, so I'm not like looking for help from government or wherever. My financial system is under my own control. I spend it wherever I want on what I want. There's nothing like a cap. Okay, you must not spend more than $200 on your card. What is $200 for goodness sake? What is 200 means a grown adult cannot dream of spending more than $200 in a month. That means you have been sentenced to poverty eternally. It doesn't make sense. So if you embrace this technology, you'll be in control of your own future because you can get whatever you want. If you see a course online that is being sold for $1,000 and you know that that course, if you finish it, you're going to land yourself a great job, you find out the opportunities for crypto payments for it, and you make your payments, and you take the course, and you go where you want to go. How many months is it going to take you to bring out $200 from your local bank account before you can pay for such a course? Man, it doesn't look like people who want you to progress are making those policies. Secondly, you be in control of your wealth. I've already talked about that, because when you earn, your wealth is right there in your own wallet, protected by your own seed phrase and your own wallet keys. It is yours. So nobody is going to like say, okay, because they don't like your face, we're going to freeze your account. Are you going to freeze a Bitcoin wallet account or a crypto, a decentralized non-custodial wallet? Are you going to be able to sanction it? It doesn't make sense, and it can't work. So you be in control of your wealth, absolutely. You can also fulfill your dreams. I'm sure any young man who doesn't have a dream, of course, why are you living? You should have a dream. What do you want to see? Where do you want to go? Do you think that life begins and ends in that small environment where you find yourself? Find a way to fulfill that dream when you can. Don't wait until you are 70 years old before you can now start traveling like our fathers used to do. They have to wait until their children go to university, travel to America, get a job, and establish themselves. Then they will now invite them to come and experience America as old men and probably stay there, get sick, and die. Please, the earlier the better, so that you can enjoy your life, you can be strong, you can help so many other people who need help. There's so much that you can do. I don't know what your dreams are, but I'm living my dream personally. I mean, speaking to you guys now is part of my dream. I'm not being paid a dime to do it, but I mean, I'm doing it. I'm excited about doing it. Look at the time it said join, I was there exactly. So there's nothing as exciting as impacting people's life, and that's one of the things that I like to do every time. So many times people wonder, is he only a blockchain developer that I can be? Must I be a coder? Must I be somebody who understands how to sit down and not necessarily at all. Yesterday I told you that the roles for blockchain developers are less than 20%, about 15% of roles, because when you get involved with blockchain technology, you find out that it's not all about code that we are doing. No, there's so much more. It's an industry, is a collective entity of activity. So writing codes is basically just one single aspect of it. Okay, so there are so many opportunities. So beyond being a blockchain developer, many other career pathways exist for non-technical persons. Okay, so you have to understand that for whichever role you decide, whether it's a non-technical role or technical role, you have to be eager to learn. You have to be eager to learn. I've given people access to courses that I bought and say, go and take these courses by yourself on Udemy or Udacity or any of the platforms there for people to learn some of these things. And I eventually log in sometimes. I find out that some didn't start, some didn't finish. So how are you going to be a blockchain developer or a skills man when you cannot even sit down and get the data that you require to finish a course that somebody gave to you for free? You should be eager to learn, for goodness sake. You know, listen, whether you are going choosing the technical part or not, clear understanding, clear knowledge of how blockchain technology works is a prerequisite. You may not write codes. You may not be a project management for projects. But if, let's say, you are a writer or a social media person, are you going to be jumbling acronyms and nomenclatures here and there without knowing what you're saying. No. I once somebody once wrote an article and said I should, or rather, I wrote an article and sent it out to them to publish, and the person they made the editor was editing and correcting me where I use dApps. She cancelled it and says app. She doesn't know what dApp is, and she's trying to edit what I wrote and say it's not dApp, it's app. Okay, so it's embarrassing as it can be. So you need clear understanding of blockchain and clear understanding of crypto technology. These are technologies, so don't think you can run away from it. Some couple of I think 2 years ago, I did some kind of research on blockchain space in Nigeria to find out how many people who will be interested in learning blockchain development. I think we got up to 651 respondents to that particular data sheet that I sent out. And from that, I could find out that you have up to 38% of the people who indicated interest as having previous coding experiences. 53% of them did not have any experience at all. And of course, a small percentage didn't know what we were talking about. Then we also found out that 90% of the people who responded were interested in learning. And I actually was asking them if you could dedicate a certain amount of time to learn. The respondents, shows that 94% of them will be willing to dedicate some time up to 3 months to learn. Because I believe that no matter the skill that you want to go for in this industry, as far as you are not a Dundee, you are not a dunce, as far as you pass through the 4 walls of a university, 3 months maximum, you should be able to grab enough of this knowledge that can help you in any direction that you're going to. Whether you're even wanting to be a smart contract developer, 3 solid months sitting down every day, committing an average of 4 hours a day is sufficient for you. You can quote me anywhere. You can quote me anywhere. Okay, so there are different ways. Then we also did some we try to understand the skill sets that people have already. JavaScript, HTML, CSS, command line skills, and all those things. Close to half of the people know HTML. More than half know HTML. More than half know JavaScript. Okay, so if we have up to 300 blockchain developers in Nigeria, we'll be dancing like this. We don't. I can tell you, we don't. Anybody who is telling you otherwise is playing, because it boils down to the actual craftsmen who can actually build something. It's not that somebody bought a course on Udemy on blockchain development and did it halfway, then he jumps out and he say, "Hey, I'm a blockchain developer." No, it's not that. After your courses, you need to go through some kind of mentoring. You need to sit down with a team that knows what they are doing and work with them with real life projects. Get feedback from users and know exactly what they want and see if you can implement it. Otherwise, you will not, you are not qualified to call yourself a blockchain developer. So if you have zero experience in programming, what do? It's still possible. You can jump to solarlearn.com, SOLOLEARN, solarlearn.com, and you jump on JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and start learning those ones. Those ones you can finish these 3 in a week. You can finish 3 of them in one single week. And to learn this one, you don't even necessarily need a laptop. SolarLearn is configured to work with mobile phones. So you can actually use your mobile phone to, do all the expected inputs and outputs that the classes will require from you. So it won't say, oh, my reason now is I don't have a laptop. There even a class of people that will tell you that they want a MacBook before they will start learning programming. Jokers. One of these days, I'm going to write an article and show you guys my first laptop that I bought in 2011. Then you understand that when you are interested in something and you're serious about something, no barrier should be able to be strong enough to stop you. So if you already know JavaScript, HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, then you are like 40% ready for the next level, because blockchain typically is adding another layer of immutable layer of trust to the web application that we're already used to. Okay, so whereas you could build blockchain projects, but as long as it's going to execute on the worldwide, on the internet, on a browser, let me just use the word on a browser, as long as that application, whether it's a decentralized application or a centralized application, as long as it's going to be users are going to interact with it via a browser, the foundations of the web, which is HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, must be something that you will have before any other thing, because after all, a decentralized application is also a website. Okay, so let's look at the market cap for cryptocurrencies. We're around 3 trillion or thereabout close. And billions of dollars are pouring in from VCs from all over the world. People have made so much money. Individuals and organizations that make so much money in crypto that they are literally looking for people that just have idea in their head to give money to build something. I can tell you that for free because I interact with VCs every day, and I know how eager VCs are looking for serious people who have good idea, or if you can even build what they call a minimum viable product, you can access $100,000. I currently work and function as Adavas partner for Nigeria. Adavas is a Cardano accelerator and funding ecosystem partner. And we have been mandated to put $5 million into 20 promising blockchain projects. We're still looking for them. We have received about 163 applications, received them, 74 of them did not make it. Then the rest are in different grades of sieving. We have invested already in 3 VCs. I mean, you can pick up $300,000 easy if your idea is solid enough and you can defend whatever project that you have. So by that said, let me even let you know that if you are building a project, you're a team member, you're a founder, you're building something, or you belong to a team where they are building something and you think that what you're building is worth funding, please shoot me an email at twitter@adavars.co, or slide into my, whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's Telegram or Twitter, just leave me something, and we'll invite you and listen to whatever you have to say. So who are the people hiring? We have large companies hiring. You have government agencies and parastatals hiring. Startups are looking for skilled men that will help them to build out new products and new services. Remember, I said that this technology will affect virtually any industry. So smart entrepreneurs are coming out and they are looking at existing products and services and recreating them in a decentralized manner using decentralized technologies so that they can get services better delivered to the end users. Tech companies are hiring big time because new technologies needs to be built to enable, tools need to be developed so that people can find it easy to build these solutions. legacy organization. I mean, organization you already know that big techs like Facebook, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, these second generation Web 2 companies are all hiring new talents. Facebook deployed about $10 billion to hire new talents to help build the metaverse for them, to position Facebook, to position Meta as a leading dominant player in the emerging metaverse world. I read the other day that Microsoft bought a gaming company, a company that was into virtual reality headsets, bought them for $70 billion. $70 billion. And I studied and I found out that that was the number one and highest investment by Microsoft. It's in its acquisition bid. So, which roles are the hottest? You have blockchain developer. They are the number one skill set that people are looking for. Now, you also have to understand that in the aspect that I'm talking about, 3 months being enough for you to become a blockchain developer or acquire any of these skills, I'm not really talking about blockchain developers that build blockchain infrastructures, that build blockchain protocols. No, that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm not talking about doing what somebody like Vitalik Burton or Charles Hawkinson or this other Gavin Wood were able to do in the early stage of Ethereum. That's not what I'm talking about here. Because the skills that we're talking about is not skills that we enable you to build blockchain infrastructure. No, you're looking at blockchain developer skill that will help you to build blockchain decentralized applications, build wallet services, build dApps, build games, build anything that will run on top of a blockchain protocol, whether it's Ethereum blockchain, whether it's Cardano, whether it's the whatever Polkadot, whatever black platform that it is, you will be able to get those skills within a 3 months time frame. I still stick to that. Then you also have blockchain solution architects. These are people who know about software development, probably from the traditional world, but well grounded in blockchain development. What these guys do, they don't necessarily build the application, but they can structure a blockchain project and hire the right people that can do different aspects of the job that is required for that kind of project to succeed or to be successfully built. So you have project managers. Every team requires people who will organize a team to achieve a goal. And that's where project managers come in. Project managers also have to be knowledgeable about blockchain technology. Otherwise, they wouldn't even understand why a particular dev is finding it difficult to deliver on a particular task that is pulling this team down and not enabling them to achieve what they want. Blockchain UX designers, that's user interface designers. I should also add user experience designers. So you have these guys who will build after you have done all the coding at the background and everything is running well. You're testing them on your command line and it's working, and you're using inspectors on the browser to inspect, and they check your log files, and you're seeing that everything is working. How does it reach a consumer in a way the consumer can use it and find fun in using it? UX designer comes in. Of course, a UX designer that usually builds um, uh, centralized website or web applications will need to deal with new types of knowledge for them to be properly prepared to build successful UX design, for blockchain project. Of course, you have a blockchain quality engineer These are quality assurance people who check whether, okay, you have followed the right principles, you have followed the right processes. I mean, what you have done, can it, survive in the market in the presence of the competition that is out there? Then, of course, you have legal consultants, because the technology cuts across different jurisdictions. You need a legal practitioner, a legal consultant in a team before you go and step your leg into a jurisdiction that will say that you have violated and criminalize your technology effort. Legal consultants are needed, and they are in short supply. Then you have forensic experts. These are people who will help in investigations. We'll still talk about that soon. You also have um, non-technical skills like accountants, like public relations experts, digital marketers, crypto journalists, ICO and IO advisors, data analysts, crypto asset consultants, of course, cryptocurrency traders. If you know your onions well in crypto trading, there are people who have built trading houses the same way people trade in Forex and they have employees that trade. There are people that are waiting to employ you if you know your onions. This one is not, I don't have capital to trade. They will give you access to capital, and if you know what you're doing, typically they allow you to trade and earn percentage in addition to your allowance itself. Now, in the new emerging fields like the NFT and the metaverse era, we're now seeing the need for 3D artists, animators, even creative artists being demanded by different employees. Storytellers, this one time that Amebo is going to pay off, because all these people who like to tell story, they can cook up stories. You'll be needed. Your talent will be paying off very soon, because in the metaverse, to create experiences that people will enjoy, to create games, to create the kinds of immersive experiences that will engage people, you need very good storytellers, people who can say how things create suspense and all that, so that animators and 3D artists can create them. More than ever before, the demand for storytellers is right there. I've already mentioned legal practitioners. I've mentioned writers. Then compliance officers. As regulations keep getting closer and closer, crypto will need compliance officers. These are people who understand what regulatory and reporting standards are expected, and they need to work with crypto companies to ensure that those companies are not doing something that will gain the anger of regulators. Of course, I've mentioned crypto forensic investigators. Then we also need auditors and crypto accountants. These are people who understand crypto. They are using crypto tools to do accounting. They can use forensic tools to do investigation. They can audit transactions using on-chain data. Okay, so let's look at how much this industry is paying. Well, the industry, like I said, they pay big time. It's very, very easy to see senior developers that are earning between 120K to 175K, or even more than that. I've seen people who earn 200K in salaries for being blockchain developers. Of course, it's not that when you finish today, in that 3 months, you come and start earning. When you finish after 3 months, you will be able to earn between 36K to 60K as a junior developer working under somebody that knows better than you. 36K is approximately $3,000 per month. Bros, that's about 1.7 million naira, if I'm not mistaken. 1.7 million, or 1.7 million naira in salary per month. 1.7 million naira as a junior developer who can understand and create, even if it's not production ready application, because to create production ready application, you must have worked with somebody who has spent time in that space. Of course, By the time you keep improving and your skills are maturing and you're shining your eyes for intermediate developer roles, you are preparing yourself to earn between 75K to 120K. Omo, I don't think there is a family in Africa that there is poverty and somebody that is earning between 75 to 120K cannot help to pursue the village people that brought that type of poverty to their family far, far, far away from where they will not worry their family members again. Talk less about any 120 to 175K. Listen, most people who are working in crypto are earning far more than those who are working in traditional software companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, except they are moving to the new techs. I can tell you that because I have friends. Then you have, if nothing is going to excite you, just look at this promise of the earnings that you can get. You know, it must not be that you pack your bag and start looking for visa to go there. Most of these jobs are actually available remotely. From the experience that I got from where I am right now in Dubai, there are a lot of big companies, big blockchain companies that are now relocating their offices to Dubai. So Dubai is hiring big time. Big time they're hiring. And of course, this city is one of the most advanced cities I've ever seen in the world. And it's going to be fun working in a place like this if you are looking for physical relocation. Of course, you know, there is always employee liquidity. They can always, incentivize you with some other things that will make working fun for you. So, how can you get your share? You have to get trained. You cannot run away from that. You must get trained. After you get trained, you must be certified. Not just paper certification, you must be certified by people who you have worked with, because the best jobs are not really gotten by the reason of you applying to advertised positions. Someone has to say that this guy is good. We have tried him. We've tested him. This guy knows the job before you can get it. You must keep abreast of developments in the industry. You must love blockchain and crypto passionately, because you can't work in this industry if you don't like it. You have to like this industry. You have to love it. You have to, you know, embrace it as your as your savior. Okay, then you must join vibrant blockchain communities like BNUG. We're extremely vibrant, and we discourse, we hold events, we network. We are at the top of the news of whatever is happening locally and internationally. So consider that. Let me give an example here of one guy. I think that was in November 2020. No, December 2020. There was a company that was advising, and one of my roles was to hire a blockchain developer to help them build their decentralized application. And the guy charged us, as at that time, $6,000. We negotiated for the job at $6,000. And I told him that I don't want to be part of those who will give you money and you disappear and not do the job. Then the next thing we are looking for you. I will create this job request on my account on GitHub, and I'm going to request that. I'm going to import it into Gitcoin, which is a platform for freelancers to get paid for the job that they want to do. That I was going to import that task there for you to do that job, and if you are done with the job, the money will be paid for you. So one of the process of creating a job at Gitcoin is that you are going to put that money. Of course, Gitcoin is going to take their percentage immediately, but you're going to put it on your wallet, on Ethereum wallet, and the moment you make that offer, that amount of this, so it amounted to about 12.76 ETH as at that time. By the time the guy finished the job, ETH has jumped, and he got paid $17,204, instead of $6. I just checked today when I just was reviewing what I wanted to show you guys, and I saw that that same 12.76 ETH is now what about 44,607. One job. One job. Assuming that this guy had money and he says, I'm not going to sell my ETH job, I'll leave it there. Let me just be chopping Nigerian naira before it go become useless in my hand. Look at the value here, because sometimes when you work in a company, a blockchain company, a crypto company, the chances are that you're going to get an offer to be paid in that company's token. Let's say you're working for Conflux now or any blockchain project. There's a chance that you'll be offered your pay in the native token of that particular project. Many times, a lot of people think that the only thing they can do is once they paid you, you are running straight to a decentralized platform to swap it for USDT and go and chop. Many wise people just leave that coin, they just leave that token over time. And it has been proven that in a course of 6 months to 1 year or 2 years, most tokens that have value typically will run. And that's how many people have the money that they can use in living their dreams. I mean, you can imagine those who were working for Binance, and I know that Binance was paying their staff with the BNB token when the value of BNB was not up to $10. We're talking about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 3 years, 2 years ago, really. And a lot of people who were receiving it were just grumbling and going to swap it. Some people just left BNB there, and they were paying their salary. They were just keeping it there. BNB got to $700, and ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, I'm sure you get my point. So let's look at the pathway for you. If you are starting now and you don't have any kind of skill, please go to sololearn.com. It is not my company, so your signing up is not going to, it's not bring two people. That will bring two people so that I can get money from you. No, I found it, I used it. It was fantastic for me to brush up my skills in programming years ago. So I keep recommending it. So go to sololearn.com. Start your journey with CSS, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Ensure you complete each course, because at the end of this course, you take your exam and they will issue you a certificate. When you are done with that, you ask yourself a simple question: what do I want to do in blockchain? Do I want to be a front-end developer, or I want to be a back-end developer, or I want to focus on smart contracts? Now, when I talk about front-end developer, that's the guys who we call Web3 developers. Those are the guys who implement Web3 in decentralized application development. So to do that, you need to understand much more on a deeper level JavaScript libraries like Node.js, React, Next.js. Okay, I should add Next.js on this one. Docker, because you can be a front-end decentralized application developer without writing the smart contract. You don't need to know how to write smart contract to be able to do front-end Web3 based application for projects. Typically, the project will have somebody who is specialized in smart contract development. Okay, and basically, smart contract development, though the language of Solidity and Golang resembles JavaScript, but they're entirely a different type of programming language. It's a decision you make whether that's where you want to go or not. Of course, if you think that you're good enough to withstand the storm that is required to build blockchain applications, then you have to learn Python, C#, C++, Rust, TypeScript, or Java itself. These will prepare you for that journey. I've put together a list of different websites where blockchain jobs are being advertised. If you want to get inspired before you start your journey, just visit any of these websites or visit all of them and check the types of jobs that are available. how much they are required, and the skill sets that are being expected from people who want to take those jobs. Then come back to the previous slide and check the pathway that you should follow. Thank you. And if you have questions, it's time to start asking them this now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chota. That was a very enlightening session. And we see that it is passion driven, really, and nothing else. You have done so well. Thank you so much. I'm sure there are questions. Um, there are some questions, but maybe we can just touch on one before we move to the next speaker briefly. So, we heard you say the crypto market has like a 3 million market cap, right? And for investors or people that want to come in and are thinking that they are late into the space, because I mean, it has moved from just tokens to NFTs and now the metaverse, and it seems like a bit complicated, right, for them. So they don't know if it is where to even start from, you know. So what would you have to say to them?
Well, if you look at the market cap of crypto at 3 trillion, you will see that we have not even started the journey, frankly, because the financial system of this world is above 100 trillion. Then, if you look at gold market cap, let me not give you the wrong info. So let me just do gold total market cap. Total market cap is around, just 1 minute, is around $12.2 trillion. That's $12.2 trillion. And Bitcoin is positioning itself as the best store of value in the world, and is a go-to type of asset for that is competing with gold. So when you are looking at gold, you are looking at Bitcoin, store of value, um, an asset that has potential to appreciate in price, unlike gold. Okay, so you see that, assuming that we are able to like take half of the value, the market cap of gold only. Let's leave other things, real estate, because the projection is that the metaverse is going to be much bigger than the physical world real estate. And the physical world real estate is trillions and trillions of dollar worth. So let's say we match it half of gold and put in Bitcoin. That will automatically give us 2x instantly, 2x. And that's huge if you understand what 2x means. Then when you bring in real estate, bring in all the other, gaming industry is one of the biggest industries also that you find in the world. Now, if you bring the gaming industry, like we are seeing now, you bring them into the metaverse, everything that is going on in PS2, Xbox, Oculus Quest, and all that, they are building a whole lot of hardware that will make people spend more time on the metaverse. That's huge amount of money you're looking at there. So, like I said, it's still early morning on creation day. That's just what I will tell you. So you are not late. In fact, you're early. If you start today, you're very early, no matter the direction you want to take.
Great. Thank you so much for that response. It was great having you, and we look forward to having more of you. Thank you for your passion and for having to speak with the audience. Thank you. Right. Um, so I think we move on to the next speaker. Um, Next speaker is Charles. He's the CTO at Convexity, right? He's a techpreneur and has deep knowledge of tokenization, cryptocurrencies, smart contract development. Um, Charles also Charles also has full stack technologies with over 15 years experience in the startup industry. Let's welcome him as he gives us the next speech. Thank you. Charles, over to you.
Hello, hello everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Am I on?
loud and clear. Loud and clear. Loud and clear. Go ahead,
Okay,
please.
good, good. All right. So today we'll be taking on enterprise use cases. That's blockchain for enterprise use case, and I'll try to be as brief as possible and possibly skip some basics because I think some of the people here already understand what the blockchain is all about and all that. So, as I've been introduced, my name is Charles Okafumba, CTO at Convexity. Also, at Convexity, we have a hub for blockchain startups where we incubate and power on some blockchain solutions that has to do with humanitarian, CBDC, airline, and a whole lot of others. So, I'll share my screen right now. Um, share screen. Excuse me, I'm trying to share my screen.
Let's just hold on. I think something went wrong with Charles's network. He'll be back shortly, please.
Hello, apologies for that. Okay, can you see my screen? Yes.
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right, good. Okay. Um, okay, so blockchain for enterprise. So we are entering an era whereby it goes beyond just the public use cases for blockchain, and then we are seeing enterprises coming along trying to buy in to the whole technology space and all that. So this whole session is to fine tune those that are maybe in the space and those that are already entering the space on how you can build blockchain dApps, even though it is not in the permissionless and network, how you can build applications on the blockchain and what to look out for. So we'll focus more on understanding the concept and components of distributed layer, which I'm going to like skip or I won't dwell too much on that. Bearing in mind that some people here are already gone past that stage. Then use of blockchain across industry, and then the enterprise blockchain clients. Okay, just as I've been introduced a little about me, this is more of a little of my profile and some of the things I've been doing in the space. So I've always got have this question thrown at me that hey Charles, let's put this thing on the blockchain because we do consultancy at Convexity. So people come or startups come and say, okay, I want to build a blockchain application. and I want to build token, or I want to build a blockchain application, and then I want to put it I want to build an application and put it on the blockchain. So the first question that I actually ask is, do you really need to put it on the blockchain, or do you really need it to be on the blockchain, or do you really need a blockchain? So that's kind of like send them a bit backwards and all that. So that's the first thing you need to think about as an enterprise, or as a blockchain engineer or developer, right? Or as a blockchain solution architect, because this the solution needs to be thought to be think through properly before being built. So these questions need to be asked. If these questions are answered favorably, then you can proceed with the architecturing of how that blockchain solution is going to be like, bearing in mind that you are not building for a public on a public blockchain, but rather you might be building on a for an enterprise, right? And for enterprises or for organizations, they are more profit oriented. They think profit. So these are some questions you need to answer. Now, I've drawn up a little map of some of the questions you need to look at before building, if you really need to build it or put it on the blockchain. Now, do you need a database? If no, then you don't need a blockchain. If yes, then you move on. Does it require shared write access? If no, if yes, and all that. So these are just some of the mind maps or some questions you need to like put in place in order for you to really know if you really need the blockchain and the kind of blockchain that you need, if it's a public blockchain or if it's a hybrid blockchain or if it's a private blockchain itself. Just an example of enterprises that are already using the private blockchain. We've heard of the e-Naira from the CBN, and that is a classical example of a private blockchain that is being used, which was deployed, and then they are using it to power the e-Naira. Likewise, other CBDCs that are coming up, building on private or blockchain. So we'll move on further. Distributed ledger technology. I'm going to skip this, right? But just know it is a shared database across multiple locations, right? So this image is more of like a classical, you have genes from a mother that is distributed across the different babies that she is having, or you have was in Excel, right? That is shared across different users, and then everybody gets to see values or what is being entered, and then once there is a change, so basic characteristics. Now I want you to just maybe pull your mind away from this is about Bitcoin, or this is about Ethereum, or this is about a particular kind of a blockchain, and then see it as you are trying to understand the basics of how this whole thing works, right? Because with that thought in mind, you will be able to think as a solution architect now, which one is going to really favor what this company or what this enterprise really wants to build. So the basic characteristics we've seen for DLTs are they are virtual machines with compilers. They have peer-to-peer communications protocol. They have storage capabilities, consensus mechanism, and self-healing of chain data and event logging. We have lots, so I'm going to skip. So blockchain. Now let's talk about the blockchain. It's a chain of blocks, right? And inside the blocks, you have transactions that are inside that block. Sorry, they've done what they know how to do best. So inside that block, you have transactions that are being placed in it, and then they are confirmed. So for blockchains, what we've witnessed in the blockchain is just one part of the DLT, right? You have other DLT. DLT is like the general name that we give to it, and then we have other DLTs. We have the blockchain, we have hashgraph, we have tag, and all that. So for blockchain, one of the issues of blockchain, we have issues on latency and throughput. The trilemma issue is always there. Power consumption for blockchains that are using proof of work can be expensive to change blockchain state. Turing complete for smart contracts, and then layer 2 solutions. Now, these layer 2 solutions, which we've had a lot of them, are trying to solve the trilemma issues that are involved in blockchain. So examples of these blockchains we've seen are Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin is the first. We've seen Ethereum, we've seen EOS, we've seen Quorum, we've seen Bantu, Hyperledger, some Gets, Cardano, Binance Smart Chain, and all that. So these are some examples of a blockchain, both for private use case and the ones that are already publicly out there. We have Hashgraph. Hashgraph, I call it the gossip protocol due to how its consensus mechanism is being formed in order for it to achieve finality. Please, if I'm speaking too much grammar, or if I'm getting you confused, just let me know so I break it down more, or I try not to be too fast. So transactions are stored on the ledger based on timestamp, with each node broadcasting their transaction via event to other nodes via gossip or whisper. So this hash graph makes use of a different kind of method or means of communicating the transactions that are happening within each of the nodes, right? Unlike on the blockchain where you have like a linear kind of chain that's each blocks are being added. For hash graph, they are almost like neighbors, different neighbors scattered around a big estate or in an estate, and then once a neighbor gets a transaction, it whispers to the other neighbor that I've gotten this transaction, and then the neighbor whispers back to that neighbor that I have this transaction to, let's settle. And that is how transactions are being the transactions happening within the blocks are being sent all around and all that. So it's more of like they are gossiping within themselves. So I call it a gossip protocol. So a finality of blockchain state is super fast, right? So actually, finality of the state is super fast, not blockchain. Power consumption is not crazy. Not Turing complete for smart contract. Consensus is via virtual voting. Random gossip to other nodes. Inability to support Turing complete smart contract. Okay, that's on the same thing. So examples we have Swede, we have Hedera Hashgraph, Mingo, and Nota. Another one we have is DAG, right? DAG is kind of like a topology protocol, right? Like it forms like a hierarchy, right? Transactions are stored in topological order as against the linear movement of a blockchain. And a valid transaction gets added when it's valid to previous transactions. I won't go too deep. Scalability and transaction throughput is high. Validation of transaction is dependent on validation of two previous transactions and others. So these are some of examples of that kind of DLT, Coda, NXT, Tango, and Hydeball. But most of these blockchains and most of these DLTs are not that popular, right? Because the use cases are not that popular too. And then those other the DLTs that are popular, which is the blockchain DLTs, right, are the ones that we get to hear about every now and then. And then some enterprises building on that. So let's move on to use cases now. What are the use cases of some of these DLTs or blockchains we've talking about? Number one is tokenization, right? What is tokenization? Tokenization majorly is just representing either a physical asset, right, or even an intangible asset with a token itself, right, or representing it with it could be a digital signature, it could be a digital representation of a physical or intangible asset or material. So let's say, for example, you have a house and then you want to break down that house to, you have a house that is worth $1 million. Now, with tokenization, you can actually break that apartment of 1 million to be $10,000 each. So you have many people giving you $10,000 each to get a piece of that, your asset and all that. So that's basically what tokenization, which I know some people here understands or know about that. So what the blockchain has done now, tokenization has been in existence for a very long while. Let's forget about the blockchain coming in, right? We've had tokenization that tokenization has been, people have been using token system and all that. You go to parties, you buy ticket, that's tokenization. Even the money you are spending, is actually a form of tokenization too, because you're putting your trust in that the paper or the coin that the government is giving to you, right? Telling you that, okay, this coin is worth 1 cent, or this coin is worth this dollar, this paper note is worth 100 naira and all those. So they are tokenizing trust actually. When since they moved out of the normal gold standard, and it's now based on fiat and all that. So tokenization is one aspect of the blockchain use cases, and we've seen different kind of tokenization methods or tokenization standards, right? Though there are already moves to standardize tokenization, to standardize how tokens will be created across the different boards or different blockchains and enterprises. Right now, I know there is one from ISO. I've forgotten their company number. I think ISO 27001 or so. So standardization is already coming into the industry. We already have, I'm sure you must have been conversant with non-fungible token. It's basically ERC 721. And then there are others too, ERC 1440, Ricardian. Then there is the ITSA standardization process of token that is currently going on. So tokenization, we've seen that in utility asset or security, blockchain protocol, multi-chain, issuing platform, custodian, regulatory compliance, and then cost. Now, let me explain what I mean by this. So for blockchain protocols, right, you've seen multi-chains, and these multi-chains, they create a token system on their own where they help you buy their token, and once you get that token, you are able to send whichever value you want across blockchain system. So we've seen that happening already. That's a form of tokenization too. Issuing platforms too. We have some platforms that are into equity, right? So as a startup, you go there, you tell them you want to raise some funds. They say, okay, let's how much equity are you giving out to the public? We're going to tokenize it. So let's say you want to give out 20% of your company as an equity also to the general public. So they help you tokenize the value of it, and then people buy into it. We've also have people that are creating custodial kind of applications too, right, for people to make use of. And also, you need to, before creating a token system, if you are going to create as a blockchain developer or as an enterprise and all that, these are some of the things you also need to determine or you need to look at, right? If what you are going to do, if it is a utility token or an asset or a security, you need to also look at the blockchain protocol itself. Which blockchain are we going to put this on? Are we targeting the masses, or are we targeting some specific kind of people that don't really understand what the blockchain is all about? And then you also need to look at the issuing platform. Which platform are we going to use to issue out this token itself? There are some platforms that are solely dedicated for asset tokenization, and there are some that it's just general token they do and all that. You have your IDOs and all that. Then you also need to consider the custodial company that will be holding the assets, right? So if you are tokenizing an asset, that asset needs to be with a custodian. You need to have a custodial company to hold that asset. So you cannot be the judge and the jury, the judge and the executioner when creating when tokenizing system, right? In order for you to do it right, you need a custodial kind of a system where the asset needs to sit. Then also you need to look at the regulatory compliance, right? Just like Chimezie was talked about, that when creating token systems, you need to be wary of the regulatory compliance that is within that jurisdiction and what it entails. And then you also need to consider cost. Cost is a major thing you need to look at. Say, for example, you don't want your users to be bothered about the transaction fee or the gas costs and all that. So which blockchain do you use? Because basically most of the blockchains or all the blockchains we have are the data permissionless, right? You need to make a payment. Your users actually need to make a payment for the transactions that they are making to change the state of the blockchain. So if as an enterprise or if as a private company you want to create such, you need to consider how it's going to hamper people from using your platform. Because say they want your token system is on Ethereum or Binance or any of these other blockchain that they need to pay. That means your users will need to first of all go and get BNB or get Ethereum or get any of these other tokens in order for them to use to pay for gas. And after paying for gas, they now pay for your token and all that. So those are some of the use cases, some of the limitations you need to be wary about when creating for enterprise use case. Okay, before you tokenize, define the business, define the use case, define the stage of fundraising, define target investor group and how to deal with secondary market, and then the banking and fund custodian. I don't want to dwell too much time. So another use case is finance, right? We are seeing enterprises building solutions around loyalty, tokenization of invoice, right? That's factoring and discount. We've seen CBDC, that's already popular. I think asset tokenization, I've talked about that. Then transaction settlement too. So we've seen all this already happening in the industry from enterprises. Let me just dwell a little about the DeFi space, because that is where some institutions really want to come into the DeFi space in terms of providing loan or liquidity. But one of the major setback for them is the regulation that is tied around their formal sector. So they can't really come in. So the DeFi space is already exploding, and enterprises are already either they are doing it behind regulators, right, in order for them to tap into what we call the gains of DeFi. Because if you look at the decentralized finance platforms that are like into loans or into staking, the APY they offer or the yield they offer is far more greater than what the banks are even offering to users. So they are trying to tap into that. So we are seeing enterprises using the blockchain for some of these that I just talked about, loyalty points, right? So as people are using their platform or as their loyal customers, they give them token, and this token, some of them are like a way of reducing the cost of transaction when such customer want to make use of the services that the enterprise is offering and all that. And one thing about such solutions is that they 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 tend to be tradable in a secondary market, right? So if I have some loyalty points from a company, with what the blockchain has done, that is bringing in tokenization and all that, I can easily go to a secondary market and then sell off that token to somebody that wants it without the involvement of the bank or the organization or enterprise that is giving me that loyalty point. So we are seeing that already happening, and it will continue to grow. So real estate and supply chain, these are some of those are already happening in the space. I'll need to be fast. So enterprise blockchain. So which blockchain to use? So as an enterprise or as somebody that wants to build for an enterprise, like I said initially, you need to determine which blockchain this is going to sit on. Is it going to be on a private blockchain, or is it going to be on the consensus or federated blockchain? Is it going to be on a public blockchain or on a hybrid kind of like blockchain. So these are some of the questions you need to answer. And now also you need to determine what data are we going to put on the blockchain. Are we going to build an on-chain data application with Web2 apps technologies interacting with it, or are we going to build our application to be the data to be entirely sitting on the blockchain? So these are some of the things you need to consider, and then why you need to do some of or take some of these actions. For most of the solutions that we're already seeing out there, or the ones that have been involved, it's always like two ways, right? So if the enterprise is going to use a public blockchain, due to the fact that some of these blockchains are they are not that to achieve finality. Achieving finality takes a while, right? And then you can get the network being clogged and all that. They do settlements offline. That's off chain. Sorry, excuse me. They do settlement off chain, and a process is running that will still continue to try and send that transaction to the blockchain, so that once the transaction passes through on the blockchain, what you are going to have on the blockchain will be the same with what you are going to have off the chain. So it's like a layer 2 kind of solution, but it's not a layer 2 solution per se. It's using a centralized database. Say, for example, now you have an application that a user wants to send 100 ETH to somebody. Now, the user's balance is already being recorded on a centralized database. And then as the user is sending that, you are subtracting that amount from the user's data in the database, or balance in the database, and then you are still sending that transaction on the blockchain, and it will keep on trying to process until that transaction is finalized on the blockchain, and then you can now balance, confirm what you have on the database and all that. So these are some of the issues you need to look at, because things like that, if you are you need to consider how fast finality will happen on the on chain, right, compared to the user experience of such an application itself. Also, if you are building for an enterprise use case, you need to also look at do we want this application to be censorship resistant, right? In the sense that we are not bound by any regulation or any government rules and all that. Though this is becoming redundant, because even decentralized applications that are being built now and then placed on the blockchain, there's an advisory that is currently being worked on by FATF, FATF. FATF is a Financial Action Task Force, and they advise government and regulators and central banks on travel rules and how money should, how funds or cash are being transmitted between different countries and others. So crypto has also crept into their discussions, and they are already formulating ways on how to regulate the whole space and all that. So one of the advisories they gave is on DAO, or on applications that are sitting on the blockchain. So say, for example, somebody creates an application, right, and you do not put your name to it, you do not attach your name or your information to it, and you put it on the blockchain, and nobody knows who created it. We just see it, and people started using it. Now, me as a Web2 guy, I want to make it easier for people that are not too conversant with how the blockchain works, like maybe interacting with the blockchain using a command line, or interacting with the smart contract directly. So I want to create an interface, just like Chimeze said, a front-end developer, right? Creating an interface that will be interacting with the blockchain and all that. Now, if you do that, right, if I do that as a Web2 developer, or maybe a front-end developer, I create such interface. If myself or a company does that, the rule states that the person that is creating that interface actually will be held liable for such an application itself. even though you are not the one that built the core of the application that is sitting on the protocol itself. So as an enterprise, I know enterprises, they are in for the business. So whatever and the regulators say, they will bend to. So you need to look at that. Do you want to build an application that will be censorship resistant, or an application that if the authorities say no, stop, we don't want this application, or stop, don't allow this person to make use of this system and all that, are you considering that? Are you putting that into the development or the features of the application or what you are building? Just like Tron. Remember Tron, I think around 2019 or 18, the South Korean government also asked them to stop or ban some dApps, some gamble dApps, right, that were being hosted on their network, on their protocol. And I think Justin Sun and his team, they complied with it. So for me, that is not even a censorship resistant protocol itself. All right, so moving on. Self-managed and deployed blockchain, or a blockchain as a service. So there are some blockchains client that you can use, right? So say, for example,
we can't see. Sorry for the interruption. We can't see your screen anymore. It's not sharing.
oh wow, when? Since when?
Like for the past 5 minutes.
Oh wow, okay. Can you see now?
Yeah, it's loading. Yeah, we can see it now.
Oh, okay. So we have self-managed and privately deployed blockchains, right? So most enterprises now, they build, they look at, okay, we cannot run on the public blockchain, due to the fact that we don't want our users to be paying gas fees, and we don't want some more of our data to be out there and all that. So you need to consider all that when you're trying to build a blockchain application for enterprise. So are we going to host our own blockchain, right? And if you are going to host your own blockchain, there are things to consider. You need to consider the internal capacity of the engineering team, right? If it is if an enterprise has an engineering team, you need to consider the capacity of such engineering team to self manage a blockchain, right? The blockchain protocol, before building the blockchain application that will sit on the blockchain. Then you need to also consider cost. You need to consider security patches and updates, and then the modular kind of a blockchain, right? Modular kind of application. And when I say modular, I mean you do some kind of separation of concern, in the sense that you have like an application that is signing and sending transaction, and then you have some application that are signing the transaction, and then you have the ones that are sending those transactions to the blockchain and all that. Now, another way out for enterprises that really don't have that capacity and don't want to have that headache of building, hosting their own enterprise blockchain clients or enterprise system, is to use a blockchain as a service. And we already have a lot of that in the space. I know, okay, I don't want to advertise, but there are many organizations or service cloud service providers that are offering blockchain as a service. Now, things to consider when you want to make use of such service is if that company will actually continue the service, right? If there will not be an abrupt end of such service. We've already seen one happen. I think we're in 2022, but I think 2020, yes, 2020. I don't want to call the company, but they actually stopped their blockchain service, and their companies were going hitascator. Now, one of the reasons for this is The blockchain data, right? The blockchain is not like your regular uh, RDMS or relational database, right? Where you can download the data and then you take it somewhere else, right? Or you download the data and then you go and put it somewhere else. It's not as easy as that, right? Processes need to be followed if you're even going to migrate from a blockchain service provider to another service provider. And that service, the new service provider that you'll be going to, they need to either be running that same protocol, right? Say, for example, if they are running Quorum, Quorum is a private blockchain that you can deploy. So if the blockchain service you want to make use of, right, is you're running on Quorum, and then you want to move that data now to another blockchain service, it has to be the same um, Quorum client that they are running. Else, you have to settle for a self-managed deployed blockchain in order for you to continue to be in business. So building an application, things to consider. I think I've said this before. Things to consider when you want to build an enterprise blockchain. I think even for um, um, publicly used blockchain solutions, so you can still make use of this. Uh, consider it to be API driven, right? API driven in the sense that if it makes it easier for you to have different channels that will be communicating with your application. The channels could be from mobile app, it could be from the web platform, it could be from SMS and all that. So if it's an API driven kind of application, it makes it easier for you. Now, the smart contract itself, consider making it upgradable, right? Because as an enterprise, business rule can change. You are in to make money, or the enterprise is in in business to make money. So, deploying a smart contract that will be upgradable is very advisable. Now, you make your contract modular. Make your smart contract modular in terms of the architecture. So when I say modular, you can have separate contracts running, have your the database that will be handling data, have the logic contract separate from that, and then your upgradability also comes in and all that. So it makes it easier, and then your contracts or your codes should not be as lengthy as such. Now, you also need to consider where the key management system will be. So, for most enterprise blockchain solutions, right, it's a custodial solution, right? Custodial in the sense that they manage the keys. The popular saying, "Not your key, not your Bitcoin," or "Not your key, not your coin," right? So, excuse me. So if your keys are not with you, then definitely it is with somebody. So enterprises actually, they take the responsibilities of managing the keys of their users. So you don't see it, right? Just like you logging into Binance. My screen has gone off again. Let me share.
Yeah.
Okay, just like you use Binance, right? When you use Binance, you don't see the keys. And that's because Binance, they are actually managing those keys and all that for you. So enterprises, if you're building for enterprises, you need to consider how these keys will be managed, right? Where these keys will be stored, which organization or which cloud service that is reliable will I be can I make use of, and all that. One of the biggest threats to the space is losing your key, right? And then if a hacker gets hold of an organization's key system, that means most of the funds or all the crypto, digital assets are gone. So you need to consider that and how to manage it securely. And then which service you are using, right? I remember a case that happened, I think 2018. It's a local, I won't say local, homegrown solution here, and a case of the service provider, the cloud service provider shutting down and going away with the keys that were being stored there. Even though we didn't really believe the story, but That is an example of how you need to look. You need to look at key management very, very well, or look at it deeply. Then access role management, access level or role based authorization, right? And this is like your multi sig. If you are building an enterprise solution, or if you are building um, uh, um, a solution that has to do with key management, you need to also look at multi-sig, how funds leave um, the the application itself. Then also you need to put your compliance thing. I don't think we can state this too much. I know the previous speakers already said something about compliance, and as regulation is already here. Let's not say regulation is coming. Regulation is already here in Nigeria and some other places too.
Your
So
screen isn't still showing, Mr. Charles.
my screen is not showing.
No, it isn't.
Wow. Ah, is it showing now?
No.
But it's telling me sharing. Sharing. Let me know when you can see my screen.
I'll do that, but we're not seeing it yet.
Okay.
Okay. We can see it now.
All right. Okay. So compliance is very important. You need to look at compliance, your compliance team, and have a structured compliance team in place in order for you to uh, continue to be in business. And I already stated it's a secure cloud uh, service. So some of the blockchain you can use to, if an organization says, okay, we want to deploy a private blockchain, just like what the CBN has done, and some other organizations too, also looking at and deploying a private blockchain. So you need to look at there is one by Bantu by Interstellar. I know they have an enterprise blockchain. You need to look at Quorum. Quorum actually is also very popular and very is already being used by some organizations or even central bank for their CBDC deployment. Look at Agorad, look at Hyperledger Fabrics, Bezut, and Sawtooth. Look at Bitcoin SV, look at Hedera Hashgraph, look at Coda 3T, look at Tendermint. These are some of the clients that you can actually use to deploy a private or consensus kind of a blockchain system. Just need to know how many nodes will actually form the consensus in that in the blockchain system or in the blockchain network, and set it up as you want or you wish. For me personally, I love Quorum, right? Because it's still it's a smart contract enabled blockchain protocol. Even Hyperledger Bezos too is kind of like cool too to make use of, or even Sawtooth to build. Because with your knowledge of Solidity, you build and you go. Tendermint is also good. So I think that is that. These are just some references that you can check on online and see how to make use of all this. So that is that from my end. My name is Chanso Kafumba, and it's a pleasure. Thank you. If there's any question, now is the time.
Okay, thank you so much, Charles. Would just wait and see if there are questions before we move to the next session. Okay, in the absence of no question, I think we can call it for this session and then we'll move to the next session. Thank you so much, Charles. We look forward to having
Thank
you back shortly.
thank you very much.
Great. All right, welcome, Obasi.
Yeah, thank you, Ahis. How are you today?
Very well. We're happy to have you again today on
Yeah,
this
thank you
session
so much.
as you give your presentation.
Yeah. Okay, good day, everyone. So, like you know, I'm Obasi Francis, and today I'm going to discuss how Cassava Network, which is a blockchain solution I'm co-founding and also leading, is changing or transforming the Web2 economy in Africa into Web3. So, I'm just going to share my screen now. One moment, please. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to upload. I didn't know that I have to upload it first. So, okay, while it loads, let me just start. So, what is Cassava? Cassava is an infrastructure network designed to, bridge the gap between the Web2 and Web3 economy. So, what we generally noticed in our um, research and findings about Web3, how important is Web3? Is Web3 really the future? And is Web2 economy, is Web2 technology or solutions actually going to give way to Web3? We realize that yes, Web2 has been so good in terms of the technological advancements made between Web2 and Web1 itself. But given that the entire economy globally is changing more to a user system or a user-based system, where users actually get to decide how they want to interact with any financial solution or even any social media platform, we then realize that Web3 is going to be important indeed. But while making the study down the line, we also found out that when you compare the Web3 adoption across the globe, you find out that Africa is still way behind. Why are we behind? Are we behind because we don't have enough capacity in terms of manpower and resources, or are we behind just because it's not something that interests us? So I found out that the we being behind in Web3 also goes as far as the shortfalls or our behind in terms of banking. So if you look at our banking system, you find out that majority of Africans remain unbanked till date. So if we still have a large pool or a large population that are still unbanked in Africa, then what is the hope for even the Web3 that is just new? So we decided to make it a goal for Cassava to onboard the over 2 billion African population into the Web3 economy. So let me quickly see if, yeah, I think, I don't know, is my screen showing already?
Not yet.
Oh, God. It's my first time to actually present with this, unfortunately. Let me see.
Okay, showing now.
Yeah, okay. Cool, cool, cool. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, good. Okay. Thank you. Exactly. So that's the background. So this is it, Cassava, and yeah, this is my humble self. And so Cassava, Africa's new incentive network, we are focused in rewards, building multi-crypto wallets, which of course is an important tool for accessing any blockchain protocol or blockchain solution. And then we are setting up rewards exploring standard for Web2 platforms to easily onboard into Web3. And then we have an in-app swap that is currently under development. And of course, DeFi access, which means that any DeFi or any already existing DeFi solution can actually interact with what we are trying to do at Cassava. Then we are also building a native NFT support and marketplace. And these are, of course, components of Web3 economy. Then, so what we noticed, crypto is changing Africa. Yeah, because it's easy for you to know when you, for instance, count every 10 adults in Nigeria, or say 50 adults in Nigeria. There is no how you will not see one person in this number that is not talking crypto, right? But even despite the fact that we have a large pool of crypto enthusiasts in Africa who are doing lots of P2P transactions, that number is still very, very small when you compare it to the population size of Africa. And of course, when you also look at the opportunities that are yet to be tapped in this crypto market. So Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, and Tanzania have entered, and we are in fact a top 10 for Nigeria on the global cryptocurrency adoption index. That's 1.9% of Nigerians either own or use crypto, which is like the highest rate in the world. Africa has the highest rate of crypto transactions between individuals in the world. That's the P2P side I just mentioned. Then, but looking at these beautiful facts that I just mentioned, we still also observe the problems. Crypto still remain complicated to a lot of people, especially myself. Beyond just building businesses, I consider myself a tutor. I have right now about 80 students that I'm teaching all things crypto, like basic things about crypto, how to interact with blockchains and all of those things, finding your career path and all of that. So one of the major challenges I find out is in the first 2-3 weeks, 1 month of teaching, people usually find it very difficult to understand what I am talking about. So I need to spend more time, to break it all down, make it look very easy. So at hindsight, it's difficult for an average man to just jump into the crypto space. It's a very big problem, right? And then African markets are fragmented. This is like, basic economics that we all know. Our market is not as organized as the Western market, and this is also a very big problem. So we think that if we have an organized system, especially for this Web3 economy that Cassava is hoping to disrupt in Africa, we will be able to, make Cassava a go-to solution center for both developers and creators and consumers of different kinds of internet contents, right? Then people, of course, are resistant to change. This is not a problem in particular to Africa or Nigeria. It's a global problem. So now, how are we trying to disrupt, the Web3 economy or the Web2 economy, and then onboarding them into Web3? We are starting that in several ways. First is through gaming, right? So, but if the people won't come to you need to go to the people. That the idea here is we have lots of successful Web2 games, lots of them, like Candy Crush, like several games on Play Store. You see like 10 million downloads, you see like 5 million downloads, you see like 20 million downloads. But when I think it was Convexity's slide I saw where he mentioned about 1.7 million people onboarded into DeFi. That's small when you compare it to the number of gamers or people who are playing Web2 games or people who are actually using Web2 solutions. Like 1.7 million, yes, is a huge success if you compare it to like 5-6 years ago before now. But again, it's relatively narrow. And we realize that one of the reasons why this is happening, why the rate of adoption of DeFi products and NFT products is simply because a lot of developers who are in the Web2 economy are very, very comfortable in that economy, in that system. They don't want to migrate. They don't want to leave. Chuta even said that yesterday or today, I've forgotten, that I think it was yesterday, that he has some of his friends in the traditional Web2 space that he has tried to invite to come into the Web3 economy, but they said, no, we are comfortable in where we are. So what we now do is we want to take Web3 to them. How do we take Web3 to them? That's where we are building the Cassava infrastructure, where we have a reward and incentivizing system that allows us to plug into all of these successful Web2 projects. It could be finance product or service. It could be gaming service. It could be social media or any other kind of disruptive solution built inside of the Web2 platform. Will move them into the Web3 ecosystem by tokenizing those particular platforms on behalf of the platforms themselves. Okay, so now because of this solid technological background and setup that we are having, we've already been able to partner with some of the big names in the African internet market. We all know Boomplay. Boomplay houses over, I think, 10 million users and about 2 to 3 million active monthly users. And then there's Cooper, which is a news platform that delivers, on the go news across all of the mobile phones that has this app installed into it. Then there is Viskit, which is a video production platform like TikTok. Then Fiku. These are already partners that we are currently building with. So that means that at the launch of Cassava's first product, these partners product is going to be integrated inside of our app, and then users who agree to engage on these platforms, of course, who are already engaged on these platforms, get incentivized with the Cassava token, right? This is one way we are rewarding these users and bringing these users into receiving Cassava token in the process, or automatically transforms them into Web3 users. I mean, we can't even imagine the huge number of platforms and user base we are onboarding with this process, right? Then if you go to the next slide. So now, I mentioned gaming. So like the part I just showed us was like more of social media or app that of social, maybe music, normal social media like Facebook. So but another part that is interesting is the P2E, which presents an enormous opportunity to bring billions of gamers into the Web3 fold. So I gave an instance like okay, let's even look at the ones we are familiar with, like Carry First, like normal online Web2 Ludo games, right, that you can find on Play Store, or even let's say all these RPG, soccer like FIFA and the rest of them that has millions and hundreds of millions of users. So what we are trying to do is we are partnering with these gamers, these Web2 gaming platforms, and then we are integrating CSV into their platform, meaning that we are helping them tokenize their platform. So we reward those users who are already active in those platforms with CSV, and then when we reward them with CSV, of course they need to convert those CSV to cash. That's where, for instance, our automated market making solution, which is our decentralized exchange, comes into force, because they will need to use our platform to convert those CSV to dollar or any other currency they want to, or any other crypto asset they want to. And of course, we are partnering with centralized exchanges and other decentralized exchanges, which means that these guys automatically get liquid assets in the blockchain. And obviously, you cannot even imagine how they want to explore that further. And being that we are in full partnership with the platforms themselves, I mean the Web2 platforms, we will onboard different kinds of tasks related to content creation, related to maybe executing a particular gaming requirement on those third-party platforms, and in the process they earn. So we not just only onboard these guys into the Web3 economy, we also at the same time, one, incentivize them for being part of the Web3 economy, and then number two, we also expose the platforms themselves into the opportunities, because they are going to also experience more downloads, because no matter how we see it, we still have users who are Web3 based and are probably not using their product. So when our already existing blockchain enthusiasts see that we are incentivizing people in crypto for those Web2 platforms that they are using, that means onboarding new users. And we imagine that in the long run, it's even going to get better, because nobody will want to associate with any gaming platform or any other platform for that matter that is not willing already to incentivize them. Okay, then, so Cassava, of course, is a Web3 gateway for all apps and developers. Any app existing or new benefit from our rewards infrastructure, which is what I explained already. Then or to other ways beyond just the rewards we are incentivizing users on is our Cassava IDing system and on-chain achievement token. So if you look at the current Web2 economic setup, one thing you find out is that all of the Web2 platforms, be it social media like Facebook, like Twitter, be it the gaming platforms that I just mentioned, or even music platforms that we're already in partnership with, and news sites, one thing you notice is they mine user data. In fact, the products they produce or they sell, they make us think that they are selling to the world, is not actually the product. The humans, we are the products of these platforms. So the more user base they onboard, the higher their revenue through advertising increases. You see, so now we are changing this narrative with Web3. So how are we doing? How we are doing it is that, given that we are now partnering with these Web2 solutions, and then we are also partnering with Web3 platforms. So what Cassava is going to be doing is that it's going to tokenize everyone's identity within the Cassava infrastructural ecosystem, and at the same time seamlessly track users activities, right? So we will easily know users who are more interested in music. We will easily know users who are more interested in, say, gaming. So on that basis, we bring them tasks related to those things. Like we more like put it in their screen, show it to them that, okay, these are the tasks that are related to gaming, and because the system noticed that, of course, you love to play games, and of course, when you play those games or when you download those games, you get incentivized directly, unlike in this current system where the platform owners takes it all. So they sell your data, they advertise to you, and yet all the money that comes therein, they take it all. At best, what you get is a rewarding system, a rewarding token that you can only use within the platform, right? And most of the time, the tokens you earn is never enough for you to buy anything successfully from within the platform. But with the system that we are creating here, we are changing the game altogether, right? So we have lots of backers or supporters, as you like to call it. These are just like the top ones that we can mention here. But in the coming weeks, we are going to be, bringing out a list of all of the investors, because right now Cassava already raised over $9 million in seed and private round, and Marco Brands, Dragonfly Capital, Dapper Labs, Infinity Ventures, and a lot of them, Jump Capital, Coin98, they are all backing Cassava. And the goal here is to make Africa a game changer. We are just trying to bring that infrastructure, close that infrastructural gap that has happened over centuries in Africa. We see lots of development in other advanced countries, bullet trains all over, but over here we are still struggling with the 17th century train and rail stations and all of that. But in this time, in this internet era, particularly in this blockchain era, it's going to be a mistake. It's going to be a failure on our part if we fail, to capitalize on the opportunities that the blockchain brings. And I know that Cassava Network is one of those solutions that is going to get us there. Yeah. So I think that's it. Thank you so much. So if you want to visit our website, you just go to cassava.network. In there, you will see our pitch deck. No, not pitch deck, sorry, our documentation that relates to, for developers, for creators, and of course for consumers, and every other information such as maybe our social media handles and other things related to Cassava Network can be found on our website. Our community is actively engaged on Discord and also on Telegram. Yeah, thank you so much. And then ask me questions if you have any. Thank you.
Wow, that was really enlightening, Obasi Francis. Thank you so much for that. And then that's interesting stuff. I would actually hit you up to know more about them, what you guys are building. I
Sure,
think it's fascinating. Thank
sure,
you.
sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ahis. So
Yeah.
I don't know if others have questions. If not, thank you.
Um, so because of time, we would move questions to the Telegram group,
Oh,
right?
beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
better.
So questions will be dropped in the Telegram group. Um,
Mhm.
but we would be sure to answer every question, right?
Sure, sure.
Thank you so much again. Right.
Thank
So
you.
we'll
All
move
right.
to the next speaker. Um, move to the next speaker now. Yes, and he's here. Um, welcome, Mr. Chinakwalam.
Just call me Ank. Hope you can hear me.
Yeah. Hi, Hank.
Hi,
Well,
Ace.
how's it going? We're happy to
Very
have you
fine,
here.
thank you.
Great,
Yeah,
great,
I
great.
should have joined soon. I just been having some connectivity issues.
Well, we're glad.
Unfortunately, I can't use video for this program. I have to just speak via the audio channel, and I'll try to be as brief as possible.
No worries at all. We're glad to have you here, regardless. So
Cool.
you can start with like a brief introduction about yourself, what you've been up to in the space, and then you kick off from there.
Okay. Hi everyone. Thank you very much, Ahis. My name is Eliezer Chanakolam, but I'm mostly known as Ank, especially in the crypto space. Uh, I'm a co-founder and currently the CEO of Lead Wallet, the simplest multi-crypto, multi-functional, multi-chain wallet out there. I've been in the crypto space for the better part of, let me say, 5, 6 years, and I've actively worked within the crypto space for 4 years now. My journey started as a community manager, so I was pleased when I heard Truta speaking about the various ways people can be a part of the blockchain industry career wise. And I think I will touch that a bit because there are so many ways people can enter into the crypto space. You mustn't be a dev, there's so much you can achieve, there is so much opportunities here. So that's all I'll say about me for now because I have to be as brief as possible. So I want to speak about crypto mass adoption and then touch a little bit of lead wallets and what our role as an African project is in shaping the future of Africans. Mass adoption. This is that's one of the first terms I heard when I came into the crypto space around 20 or when I was more active. That was 2017 to 2018. It was a buzzword. Everybody was talking about the mass adoption, and we who are crypto enthusiasts kept looking forward to the day where the blockchain technology would be widely and completely accepted around the globe. We complain all the time. We have cryptocurrency assets in our wallets, but we can't pay for utility with it. We can't use it for our day-to-day activities unless we convert to fiat. So all of us are building. You've heard some speakers building some amazing things. But at the end of the day, by the time we have interacted with all our cryptocurrency applications and apps and protocols, and let's say we've made a living out of it, or we have something there to flex with, let me use that word, we don't have a way to spend that fund unless we convert to fiat. So we are being forced back to utilize the traditional financial systems, which is what we're trying to escape from. And for the better part of the past 5 years, we've had project build solutions that are outstanding. These projects have not tried to replace existing traditional solutions, but they've taken products and services a notch higher, just like we've had instance of the Web3. It's not a new thing. It's just adding another layer on top of Web2. We've seen wonderful projects. We've lived the hype. Uh, 2017 was a year where there was so much hype in the crypto space. We see a project being built, wonderful idea on paper, and then everybody goes, "Wow, this is going to be adopted by the masses easily because there's a wonderful idea." And we will be happy that the world will finally see exactly what the blockchain space has to offer. But after a few months, give any project a few months or a few years, what happens? The hype dies, and it's almost as if that project fizzles out into oblivion, only to be remembered as a distant fond memory. And if the token of that project did well, the asset tied to that particular project, everybody will be happy. This project, you see them talking about it with glee. We made 10 times from it, we made 100 times from this. It's been amazing. The CEOs or the executives of the project, some of them just move on to build something else forget the previous project they built. Some of them just close shop. We have a fortune. Let's exit the blockchain industry. So rinse and repeat. It's been going on for years. So what were the barriers then? And do we still have such a barrier now? Do we still have this kind of issues? One of the major issues I observed in my earlier days as a crypto enthusiast was the lack of cooperation. Sometime in 2017, there was sort of a race, it was like the Cold War. It was to see, everybody wanted to see who would be the crypto, or to see who would get accepted widely first. Uh, Telegram groups were filled with competitive analysis, and this competitive analysis wasn't about pitting crypto projects against traditional projects or traditional offerings. It was about crypto projects being pitted against other crypto projects, trying to make one feel superior over the other. And in the end, the unfortunate thing about this whole competition is the battle was determined by which project had the better token price action. And that was the end. Most people who built on top of the blockchain industry only did so because it was like the new shiny thing, the new kid on the block. And these guys had access to VCs, they had access to funding. Uh, 2017, the year of ICOs. Right now we have IDOs, we have IGOs, and all sorts of things. And we see raises like, let's say, $400 on a launch pad, $400,000 rather. We see raises up to $1 million. But in the days of ICOs, we saw projects raise just on ICOs $100 million. We saw some raise 30 million. We saw some raise $50 million. Where did all this money go? What happened to it? Those projects, most of them are dead. They've gone flat. Not their token action, but they've stopped developing. They've just closed shop and then disappeared. Now, what I would say tops the list as a barrier to crypto mass adoption. This is very important. It's the understanding of what the blockchain technology truly is, and this misunderstanding is amplified by the way I would say we, crypto enthusiasts, carry out our marketing. You know, Non-crypto users out there, newer people that want to enter into the space, what are they seeing? They see the hype, they hear the noise, but beyond the hype and the noise, they see nothing else. And this is where the problem truly lies. I'm not going to mention projects, but I've seen ads on Facebook, I've seen ads on Twitter, where you see them pushing the narrative that you can just come into the crypto space and you make it overnight, which is true, by the way. But should that be what we're actually pushing out? When we keep doing this, all we're going to be seeing is people who are coming in focused on price action, focused on what they could buy that could be the next 10x, what they could buy that could be the next 100x. You see some huge personalities in this day and time making posts on Twitter, and they will say things like, if you don't own Bitcoin, you remain poor. Or they will say in 2022, and you don't own Bitcoin, then they insert a clown symbol, and so many other funny things. These people who we are trying to preach to, they're exposed to price action hype only. They know when crypto assets pump. For example, they know when BTC is pumping, like the price is going up. Yeah, there's excitement. That's all everybody's talking about. If an NFT sells for millions of dollars, news outlets are going to carry it. Everybody's going to hear about it. Even someone who doesn't know any other thing about the crypto space, he just knows that something called NFT, which he doesn't understand, sold for millions of dollars. They also know when SHIB turns an average person into a millionaire. Why? Because that's what the buzz is all about. Also, they know when Bitcoin dumps, and then they participate in sharing memes mocking people who are in the crypto space. You know, and what this does in essence is they only see the rise and fall of crypto price action, and then it's still being portrayed as a thing like gambling, where people can either get rich or get wrecked. All this lead to the blockchain technology being met by skepticism. You heard Twitter said he's tried to explain people outside the blockchain sphere to come into the blockchain sphere. These are tech guys, these are guys who are very, very intelligent, that will be wonderful assets. But each time you try to talk to them, to explain to them, to get into this sphere, you will see they think, or they believe that they already know what you're talking about and they're not interested. Why? It's not because they wouldn't love the technology as it is. It's because of the noise associated with it. We're drawing attention so much to the wrong things. Now, what would be the solution to this, and how does crypto attain mass adoption? How do we do it? What role is lead wallet playing? Recently, I've seen a trend that is highly encouraging. Newer crypto projects are beginning to understand the need for cooperation and joint pursuit of success. It has more recently become a collective race, if I will put it that way. Various blockchains are being created, like a Fire and some others, offering support to developers who build on their protocols. Some with huge funds, some with exposure and marketing to larger audiences. Now, coming down to Africa, like we all know, is blessed with natural resources such as gold, diamond, crude oil, and a host of others. And in time past, like Twitter said, we've remained poor. Africa has remained a poor continent despite what we are blessed with. Why is that? Our leaders and the people in here, we are sitting on top of resources. We don't know what to do with it. People who are outside the continent place value on these items, these resources we have. So they do everything within their power to mine these resources, to harness these resources, to push these things, get profit out of them, to make life better with these resources, while we just sit and look and wait and hope that things are going to get better. Now, it's the same thing with the blockchain industry. If we look at the current trajectory of the blockchain industry, it will be undeniable that Africa, especially Nigeria, if I might add, can be likened to a gold mine. And right now, everybody wants a piece of it. There's so much focus in exploring the unlimited potential that the African market has to offer in the crypto space. But here's the thing, this interest seems to be skewed or explored more by individuals, corporations, and projects built by people outside Africa. Whereas we who are here in Africa were made by government sanctions and outright witch hunts, by our indigenous financial institutions. For the blockchain, when I say we are like a gold mine in Africa and in Nigeria, what I'm talking about is the strength of our number, the human resource capital which we have. Why is everybody trying to explore Africa as a good ground to get things in the blockchain industry running? We have huge number of people, intelligent people who have the drive and passion to secure a better future for themselves, people who have been placed at, I would say, disadvantage, and will do anything to exit or turn their fortune around. So projects built by Africans in Africa a lot of time are met with prejudice. There are so much difficulties for crypto startups and a general lack of support, fueled by bias. But how are we going to overcome this hurdle? I believe the key to mass adoption lies in education. Mass effort by all blockchain enthusiasts in various spheres. This isn't about education by just one group or just a project or an organization focused on education only. I think it's something we should do collectively. Every project owner, every crypto enthusiast, everybody who wants to see crypto go global, everybody who wants to see crypto being adopted massively in a way that it's being used for our day-to-day activities. We should actually have an awareness and educative campaign. This is why at Lead Wallet, we are committing to leading the front via educative programs and conferences. We have recently reached out and launched an educative campaign with several university communities. We incentivize their participation, and we create awareness on the need to be a part of the blockchain system. We recently held a conference at a university in Nigeria, in the East, where we gave them prizes. We paid for fees of a few students, and we found someone who was a developer that would love to get into the blockchain space. So we gave him a brand new laptop to aid his efforts. And this is just part of the things we think we can do. The target is the younger generation. We would like new entrants of the blockchain industry, especially those who are interested in this program right now, to understand that the blockchain industry is beyond, it goes much beyond or far beyond price action. There's lots of amazing things being built, to know that the features we saw in sci-fi music movies in the years past are being brought to life quickly. These things are being brought to life by nothing other than the endless possibilities enshrined in the blockchain tech. We also want people to understand that they can secure better financial future and fortune for themselves by redirecting their choice career paths to leverage and specialize on crypto related services. If you go into Nigerian university, I don't know who mentioned it. I think that was on the call yesterday. Someone said that I can't remember exactly, but in the lines of what he studied in school, his BSc was a scam or something. I think I think it should be a book of from Gaius, if I can remember correctly. So lots of people are studying courses that are obsolete in Africa, young ones, and they spend 4 to 5 years focused on this, trying to get good grades and come out and face the economy. Unfortunately, our infrastructure in Africa is such that the moment you graduate, you are automatically handicapped. You're just dealt a very bad card. So, except you have a connection of sorts, you will just be floating and wondering what to do next. And most of the graduates of our generation, many of them are entrepreneurs right now. They are just business people. They ain't doing or practicing what they studied. So, why we are focused on university students and the younger generation is to help shape the future of Africa. If we could educate them better to know that there is something, there's a future which is now, there's a place where the world is turning to, you know, something that they could easily plug into without much stress, where they can have a supportive community. The blockchain is one of the most supportive communities you've seen, whether it's NFT, whether it's just crypto assets, whether it's just projects, teachers, everybody's willing to share information, whether it's for price action or just to tell you this is what this project is about, this is what this blockchain is offering to the world. It's such a supportive community. So we are trying to bring in as many people as possible. We're trying to let them know that there's a future here where you can learn about it while facing your studies in these universities. We want people to understand that they can build successful careers within the blockchain ecosystem. And it's not just being a developer, which is actually the most paid most paid career choice, of course, but not everybody has the brain for that. They could be UI UX designers, they could be project managers, they could be quality control specialists, they could go into or become sales and marketing executives, they could be community managers, which is where I started from, by the way. They could even be influencers for brands and a host of other things. You build an audience for yourself and become an influencer for crypto projects, and everything will just fall in place for you. Once the young generation begins to understand that there's a world which eliminates every disadvantage and barrier they face in the traditional world, a platform which can give them the opportunity to do what they love and earn a good living, a world where they can reshape the future, I believe we will experience the much needed paradigm shift to expedite mass adoption of crypto protocols and solutions. Lead Wallet was built with total inclusivity in mind. We understand that different blockchains and different projects exist to serve a variety of purposes, which, when isolated, may tell a story that is not so captivating. If you pick each blockchain, and okay, one is focused on being environment friendly, one is focused on increasing scalability to beat Ethereum blockchain. It's just going to be like this is trying to outdo the other. But if you bring these blockchains collectively, if you push out or if you make a list of every single blockchain in existence today and look at them from a collective standpoint, you will see something that is a perfect solution to an evolution that is actually inevitable. This is why at Lead Wallet we support as many blockchains as possible, and the plan eventually is that we will support all blockchains in existence, including their dApps and every service built on these blockchains. We do not pay attention to which blockchain is better than the other, because the more this sort of competition continues, with each trying to be the blockchain, or mass adoption will just remain a mirage. uh, at Lead Wallet, our company culture, we just look at how to, we're focused on mass adoption. We're focused on being the gateway to crypto mass adoption in Nigeria, expanding to Africa, and then the entire world. So we've chosen, instead of trying to be a competition to some other wallet, or a competition to another blockchain, we want to tell the story of a wholesome ecosystem where everyone and everything has a role to play, and everyone is welcome to contribute to the growth of the entire blockchain industry through the specific technology they think is best. You know, we understand it can be tedious for users to maintain 3 to 4 applications in order to interact with the favorite dApps on various chains. Some people have to move from one wallet to another, from that wallet to another, in order to complete a transaction. Maybe they want to switch from Ethereum blockchain to Algorand, have some transactions in Algorand blockchain, and then move to something else. They have to transfer their assets from one wallet that supports Ethereum to another that supports Algorand, and then move it to another wallet altogether to do whatever it is they want to do. But why we built Lead Wallet is to eliminate this kind of tedious process. Our wallet is built to save time, to save energy, to save cost, because when you have to move your assets, you're paying transaction fees. When you have to carry out transactions, 2 to 3 transactions in different wallets, you're paying more transaction fees. So you're wasting your money, you're wasting your time, and there's a security risk as well. You may have a wallet that is compromised because you're moving from 2 to 3 or 4 applications. Your mind may not go there. There may just be a loophole that a hacker or something, someone can explore. So that is why we have built the simplest multi-chain, multi-functional cryptocurrency wallet that we believe will be the gateway to mass adoption, because crypto veterans can interact with everything they need from a single mobile application, and newbies, new entrants can experience ease of use. Our UI is so simplified, even a child can easily navigate. We understand the need to eliminate the complexity behind the blockchain technology and present users with a sophisticated swipe or a tap away from being right in front of them. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for having me. I think that's all for now. If anyone has a question, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Ank. This has been really exciting, interesting stuff you're doing with Lead Wallet. I'm sure we are excited, and then a lot of people would want to check it out and see what is there for them. Thank you so much once again. Um, so we
Yeah,
would,
thank you again for
yeah, we would
space.
take
Thank you very much.
we'll take just one question if there is any before we wrap it up today. So, one quick question. Ank, are you there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank- Okay.
I'm here.
So
I'm
one quick
here. Go
question.
ahead, please.
How many blockchains does Lead Wallet support so far?
We support over 10. Let me just open the wallet quickly and do a very swift count. Uh, right now is about 18, including RSK. If you know of RSK, they are building dApps on the Bitcoin blockchain. So we have about 18 blockchains we currently support, and this is not the end. This is just somewhere we've decided to hold on to and then optimize on what we have before we keep adding others.
Okay. Okay. That's a lot. That's impressive stuff. Really impressive. So another question is, have you seen what is the adoption of Lead Wallet outside Africa?
The thing here is our users are actually outside Africa. We're just about to start plunging into the Nigerian and African market. Most of our users at the moment are not within Africa. Uh, we are about to start a global marketing campaign, but our pilot ground is Nigeria, of course, and then we'll move to other parts of Africa. So we have a good user base because whenever I talk to people, maybe talk to a few people, I want to introduce Lead Wallet to them. They already say, "Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know about Lead Wallet." So, um, yeah, that's it. We are about to just hit the market with our product.
In Africa?
Yeah.
Okay. So where is the highest user base? I think that's what the question meant.
The highest user base. I can't answer that for now because I haven't checked recently, geolocation wise. I would like to add, of course, that we support the Conflux Network. That's very important. So, whoever wants to interact with Conflux dApps, they can use Lead Wallet easily.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us today. And we would be sure to have you back. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So before we just close, I would like to um, encourage everyone to join the Telegram group that's created for this um, lab, right? And then form your groups. There will be a link shared uh, shortly in the Telegram group. Form your group, and from next week we'll start delving deeply into the technical the technicalities of blockchain and start the classes. We would also stop registrations on the 9th of April. So invite your friends and people that want to be involved in it. So there is a giveaway. There's a giveaway of my internet went off for a bit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so there'll be a reward of about $7,000 to the winners. So please join us and let's make this happen. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. And that will be it for today.